Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am super pumped to be showing you guys how to make my favorite bagels. I love bagels. I can honestly have a bagel at any time of the day. Ever since I was a little girl, a bagel with cream cheese is one of my favorite foods. So I want to show you guys how to make some good quality bagels that taste amazing and have healthy ingredients. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to start off with is making the topping. I just love to have like a nice topping on my bagel. So let's get started. So the first ingredients that I'm going to use for the topping is rolled oats. I have white sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, and salt. So I'm going to start with 2 tablespoons of rolled oats. So just adding them to a bowl. And then I'm going to add in some sesame seeds. Now I love sesame seeds on my bagels, so I'm gonna go wild with this. I'll probably do 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds. Woo! Literally got sesame seeds everywhere. That's the fun of cooking. You know, sometimes stuff gets everywhere and you can't prevent that. And then I'm going to add in just a little bit of sunflower seeds, maybe like a half a teaspoon. And you know, the amounts aren't really set in stone. You guys can be flexible with what you want to use. So I'm just going to do like a little bit of sun. So maybe like half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of sunflower seeds. Drop in everything. And then the next thing I'm going to add is just a little bit of salt. So this is sea salt. You can feel free to add Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt as well. So I'm just going to add about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt. Yeah, probably just like a half a teaspoon there, and add that in, and then you can just combine up your mixture. Okay, so I'm just gonna set the topping aside, and then we're gonna move on to making the actual bagels. So first, what you want to start out with is some warm water. So 1 cup of warm water. We're gonna do a teaspoon and a half of yeast, and then 1 teaspoon of sugar. So the sugar I chose to use, I recommend using this Sugavida. So there's Palmyra sugar, or you can use, or this is called Palmyra sugar, or organic coconut sugar. I love the Sugavida, and you can check out my other videos. And I actually take it as a supplement because it's the highest plant source of B vitamins, especially B12, and it's very low glycemic, so it doesn't spike your blood sugar level. So this is so great to cook with. So I actually already combined the yeast and the sugar together with the warm water because it needs to sit for 15 minutes. So make sure you do that. Okay, so now we're ready to add the other ingredients into the yeast mixture. So we're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of chia meal. So what that means is I honestly just took chia seeds and ground it in a blender. So I have that here, so I'm just gonna sprinkle that in. And you guys can also buy chia meal already ground for you. I like to grind it myself, so I actually keep my chia seeds in the freezer in a Tupperware container. I just get it from the bulk section because it's cheaper. And I'll keep it in the freezer to keep them at their best quality. So the freezer helps to maintain just the integrity of the seeds and the oil. And then I grind it myself for optimum freshness. So you guys can either do that, it is better to do that, or buy it already ground. So I added that into the yeast mixture. I'm going to add in a tablespoon of coconut oil. So I had just melted that over the stove. So the coconut oil that I use is actually this Nutiva refined coconut oil. So refined just means that they refine out the coconut taste, because I just don't want that flavor in bagels. Let's be real, I'm not making coconut bagels. So this is the coconut oil that I opt for, and it is super good. And organic, non-GMO, great quality. And then we're also gonna add in 2 teaspoons of lemon. So I'm just going to juice the lemon here and add it right in. So you can also use apple cider vinegar for this. I just decided to use lemon. I don't have apple cider vinegar right now. So I'll just do 2 teaspoons of that. And then you can just blend this mixture together. So just slowly blend it there. Now that we've blended our yeast and chia seed mixture, I'm just gonna set it aside for about 5 minutes while I start to blend the rest of the ingredients for the bagels. I recommend getting a large to medium sized bowl, and we'll start with the flours. I'm starting with oat flour, so again, just 3/4 cups of ground oats. and you can grind it yourself too. I'm going to do 3/4 cups of spelt flour. So if you want to make it gluten-free, You can substitute millet flour for the spelt flour. I'm just using spelt because I want to, and I didn't have any millet flour, and for me, gluten-free doesn't really matter as long as it's a good quality flour. Like, flour's going everywhere. And then the next thing I'm going to add is potato starch. So the potato starch you can get at any health food store. It's also at a lot of grocery stores. I just got the brand by Bob's Red Mill, which is pretty widely available. I'm going to, I don't need that big of a measuring cup. I'm gonna do a 1/3 cup of the potato starch and actually add in 4 tablespoons after I do the 1/3 cup. Make sure I measure that. And then I'm going to be adding a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Just again, sea salt, Himalayan sea salt, whatever you have. And then I will be adding in a teaspoon of baking powder. So just make sure when you buy baking powder, baking soda, just to always look at the quality of the food you're buying. This one I actually got in the US. It's called Rumford. It's aluminum free. So it's really important to get like an aluminum free baking powder and just a baking soda that, you know, is good quality. Baking soda into there. There we go. And that's it. So we'll just blend it up. We'll actually use a whisk just because you want the starch to incorporate nicely. And then our chia mixture should be pretty thick by now. So I'm going to add that in together. We'll add that into there. And I'm just so excited to eat these. A little bit sticky in there, so I'm going to add in just a little bit more flour. I'm going to choose to use the spelt flour. And again, if you guys want it to be gluten-free bagels, you can add in millet flour. So probably just add in a tiny bit. So yeah, you guys can really see how much flour you need to thicken it up. Usually it's fine, I don't need to add more flour, but it always depends, right? Recipe always differs for everybody. Now that the dough is all made, we are ready to put it on the baking sheet. So we're gonna go ahead and just make 10 small balls. Now that I got my 10 balls all made, I'm just going to put a hole in the middle with my thumb. So of course, that is how you make the bagel. So just put like a clear hole through and stick it right on the baking sheet. So I'm gonna lie them out here. Now we're gonna put a towel, just a tea towel, right over the bagels, and we're going to let them sit for about 45 minutes just to rise in a warm environment. So I'll see you guys when they are ready to go. Bagels have been sitting for 45 minutes, so now that they're risen and they're looking super good, so as you guys can see, they are ready to go. So what we're going to do is, so I just have a pot of water that's actually boiling right now and it's ready to go. I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of baking soda to the boiling water. I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of the Sugavida, so just coconut sugar or Palmyra sugar, which is what I'm using. Let's just do 2 tablespoons in there. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the bagels in probably one at a time. I'm going to do just with a slotted spoon, and we're gonna let them sit for 30 seconds on each side. So I'm gonna stick it in there. I'm actually going to time it on my phone just to make sure that it's not in there for too long and it's just easy to keep track of. So I'm gonna put the timer on. When you take it out of the water, just make sure to drain the water off of the bagel as well. You know, I'm gonna stick more in because there's room in here. Just finishing up, I'm gonna scoop them out and just shake out the excess water. Put them on the baking sheet here. I'm so excited to eat these. They're looking so good. And the cool thing is that they're like really easy to make, so they're not super time consuming. For some reason these got way bigger. And my sheet isn't big enough anymore. Okay, so once we got that all through, I'm gonna stop my stopwatch, and turn off the stove here. And now we're just gonna sprinkle them with our topping that we made. So just sprinkle each bagel with the topping. Okay, I'm gonna go stick it in the oven and I'll see you guys when they're done. They are ready and I couldn't help myself, and I already had to dress them with cream cheese and basil. I am so pumped to eat them. They are so delicious. They smell so good. They turned out amazing. So I can't wait till you guys try them out and make them yourself. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe to join in. I do videos weekly, and I really can't wait to start talking about more, sharing more of my favorite recipes. If you guys want to know more, please let me know in the comments. Bye.